Hi. Ducky. Hey everyone, it's my Chua and welcome back to my channel. Today we are actually at the park because there's this family event going on, right? But I wanted to use this time to film my very first reading vlog on this book that I feel like I'm the last person on earth to read. And I purposely held off on reading this book because I wanted to specifically do a reading vlog on it, right? And so the first book I'm talking about is Addicted to You by Krista&beccaritchie. I've heard so many good things about this series. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is a reading vlog on each one of the books in this series. This is the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series, right? And I believe there are 10 books. I can't say I know too much about the books in this series, but I know that there are 3 couples and I've heard that they are called the Core 6. This first book follows Lily and Lo, and Lo has an addiction to alcoholism and Lily has an addiction to sex. And so I believe that they start off as friends initially and then they eventually fake date so that they can conceal their addictions in front of their like friends and family. So that is all I know about this book and I am extremely excited to finally pick it up and film this vlog. So with that said, let's jump right in. Oh, I do want to point out that since it is a reading vlog, there will be spoilers in this video. So if you have not read this book yet and you do not want to be spoiled, please read the book first and then come back for my thoughts on this book. Okay, so I'm not even done with the first chapter yet, but right off the bat we are introduced to Lily, of course, right? So we are in her point of view. I don't even know if this is dual point of view or not, but we get her side of the story. So she just woken up from sleeping with a random guy, right? And I think he's like this frat boy or something. We then meet Lauren Hale and he comes to fetch her pretty much from the party, right? And they have this secrecy going on. They're pretending that they're together. So I got to this one part and it says, "Oh my, I bite my lip imagining what sex would be like with Lauren Hale. The first time was too long ago to remember well. I shake my head, don't go there." And oh my goodness, I did not know that they already had this intimate relationship. I thought that they were just friends and they never went there, but I guess they had in the past, and so this makes it just so much better. I'm still not done with this first chapter, and at this rate I am never gonna finish this book, but this is just so cute. Okay, I gotta read this to you. So right now Lily and Lo, they are in the car ride to, I want to say, their house somewhere, right? And this Nola girl is driving them, and I think Nola is like Lily's personal driver or something. She's kind of asking them questions and they are still putting up this front that they are dating each other. Okay, so then this paragraph says, "He observes me every little movement and my heart speeds. Is she watching us?" I whisper, wondering why he suddenly looks like he wants to devour me. It's part of our lie. I remind myself this isn't real. But it feels real. His hands on me, his warmth on my soft skin. He licks his bottom lip and leans closer to whisper, "In this moment, I'm yours." His hands run through the armholes of my shirt and he settles them on my bare shoulder blades. I hold my breath and immobilize. I am a statue. "And as your boyfriend," he murmurs, "I really hate to share." And oh my goodness, I think I already fell in love with Lauren. Like this is all it takes, you guys. Okay, so I'm finally done with chapter 1 and oh my goodness, already I feel like I'm going to love this book so much. Like I would hate to do a reading vlog on a book that I did not love. I'm really praying that this book would be a good book, and I have no doubts just from the first chapter. But at the back of my mind, I'm wondering why they just aren't together, I guess. I'm wondering why they can't just make it official and not fake date. You know what I mean? Like, what could go wrong at this point? They both know so much about each other, but there must be some reason why they can't. I am done with chapter 4, and at this point we're introduced to some family members, right? Because they went to this luncheon, and apparently all of the family members go to this thing, and this was actually to welcome Daisy home, who is Lily's younger sister. Between the 4 sisters, we have Poppy, who's the oldest, and then it's Rose, and then Lily, and then Daisy. Okay, so Poppy is already married, and I believe she's a mother. And honestly, I don't know why, but she does not have her own book in this series. So we only see Rose, Lily, and Daisy. Rose, we see that she's kind of the headstrong sister, very protective, and she doesn't have a good relationship with Lo, right? So they kind of have this resentment going on. And she is an owner of this fashion company, I want to say. And then we have Daisy, who is a model, and she's the youngest sister. We find out that Lo is kind of intimidated by his father, if that makes sense, if my grammar is right. And so I guess he doesn't have this good relationship with his father. His father has high expectations for him. At this luncheon, we see them both trying their best to kind of cover up the relationship pretty much, right? So whenever there's like a family gathering, they always have to try extra hard to pretend that their relationship is real. So we see some tension throughout there. Okay, so I was not prepared for that next chapter. Okay, chapter 5. So we finally see a glimpse of the two in class, right? And they have I think just a few classes together. I forgot exactly which class. Business and economics. So they are in this class together, right? And homegirl is watching porn in class. Like, why would you do that to yourself? While Lo is actually drinking in class, okay? So apparently their addiction is real, and they gotta do what they need to do every second of the day to satisfy their addiction, I guess. And so Lily is in class watching porn, and so she is pretending to take notes or whatever. She accidentally hits this button and her computer goes off, okay? And so she's at this point, she is struggling to get the volume down and everything, but her computer just blows up and everybody hears the porn going on in the background. And so everybody knows that she is watching porn, and I just got secondhand embarrassment from this scene. Alright, you guys, so it's day 2 of reading this book and filming this vlog. Okay, so I did read a little bit last night, but I didn't get too far, and I am such a slow reader that I feel like this vlog is gonna take me like probably 2 or 3 more days to finish, right? But I'm hoping to get through most of the book today, and then maybe just another day to kind of wrap up my thoughts and everything, right? So far, I have gotten through to chapter 13, okay? And there wasn't too much going on between those chapters, right? But we see Lily kind of hitting rock bottom at one point. She's starting to really let her addiction take over, and she's sleeping with a lot of men. This one morning she slept with 2 men but didn't remember doing so. She's starting to lose track of time. She's starting to get her days mixed up. So Lo steps in and he's like, you need to get your shit together. Like, I think you are going a little bit overboard with this, and you need to set limits for yourself, because it obviously hurts him to see her this way. One thing I'm noticing is that Lily has this attraction towards Lo, right? And at this point, we aren't sure if it's just her addiction talking or if she's really attracted to him and wants something more from him. And fast forward to chapter 13, right? And this is where I feel like things are getting a little bit juicy. Lily and her family are on this yacht, right? I think it's a yacht or a cruise, and they are celebrating their father's birthday. On this yacht, she obviously needs to satisfy her needs, right? And she's kind of eyeing this bartender guy because he's kind of like the only option that she has. Lo sees this and he's not happy about it, so we're seeing some kind of jealousy from Lo, right? And he claims that it's because they are supposed to be together and it's too risky for her to sleep with him. And she's like, hey, this is my addiction, okay? I don't tell you to stop with your addiction, so you can't tell me to stop with mine. They do get in this argument with each other, and then the next day they really aren't on like speaking terms. So Lily is trying to sleep with the bartender, right? But before she gets to, she bumps into Lo on their way, you know, down to her room or whatever, and they talk it out. And this is what Lo has to say about it. Fuck no, Lily. I'm not saying it's okay for you to have sex with him. I'm clearly an option, and yet you still can't ask me. I don't fucking get it. Am I that revolting to you? You would rather go through withdrawals and bang some asshole than sleep with me? And oh my goodness, this is where we know what's gonna happen. That scene was just perfection, right? And I don't know. I feel like after all of that tension, it just made so much sense for that scene to be very like emotional, right? And obviously Lo does not treat Lily like how all of her other hookups do. He's like, hey, you know, you gotta look at me when we do this. And that just made me melt. After they came to an understanding, right, of where both of them stand in their relationship, they decide that they want to make things work. So this is where they make things official, I guess. They are going to stop with the fake dating. They're going to stop pretending and actually make it real, right? And so that was just so good. Like, oh my god. I'm actually a little surprised because I thought that they were gonna drag it out a little bit longer, right? Because they still have 2 more books in this series, and so I'm sure other conflicts are going to come in. But wow, just through this one book alone, they are like together like before the halfway point, and so we'll see how things go. This lighting is killing it, you guys. I'm liking it. Wow, okay, so we are actually introduced to Connor in this book, right? And if you know, Connor is supposed to be with Rose. In this book, Connor is actually Lily's tutor for her econ class, and he's kind of like this stuck-up guy. He's kind of very cocky, and he makes these like insults without meaning to. I think it's just part of his nature to do so. Lily is a little bit annoyed with this, but she kind of brushes it off. She's like, okay, I kind of need this guy to help me pass this class anyway, right? But anyways, hi Connor, I see you. Nice to meet you. Oh, okay, so we are also introduced to another person. They are currently at this Halloween party, right? And they are dressed up in costumes or whatever too, and Lo kind of gets himself into this situation because he is drinking like this very expensive liquor bottle that he stole from like the host, right? So they catch him doing that, and now they want him to pay up for it, right? And guess who shows up in this book as well? Reich. Okay, so if you know, Reich is supposed to be with Daisy, I believe. I'm just surprised that we are meeting all of these characters already. I thought that once we get to the Sisters book, they would gradually introduce these characters, but no, right off the bat, they are here. And Connor, we're going back to Connor, he's actually becoming one of their friends, right? And so it's really interesting to see. So Reich kind of comes to their rescue, right? And he helps them escape the situation. So Lily isn't sure how she feels about him, right? She's kind of on the fence. She's being very defensive, and I don't know, I guess she just thinks something's up with this guy. And so that's kind of where I am at this point. Alright, so after a few chapters, we are realizing that their life is pretty messy, okay? So obviously with the addictions, they're realizing that it's affecting their relationship even more so now that they are together, right? And Lily is kind of feeling a little distant from Lo, and at this point, I feel like their relationship is pretty toxic, okay? She's trying to help him with his addiction, right? And it seems like he's not really caving in. It's kind of like something that he brushes off. Reich is actually in the picture now because he did have an ulterior motive. He notices that Lo is drinking a lot more than he should. So both Reich and Lily are trying to help Lo with his situation, right? And I guess this is something a little personal towards Reich because Reich had an alcoholic father, and so he feels the need to help Lo, even though they're not even like close friends or whatever. Lo is obviously agitated by this, and he doesn't know that they are trying to get him to stop because they're trying to do it secretly. This seems to piss him off, and now he's drinking even more. Honestly, right at this point, I feel like it's hard to understand Lo sometimes, and it's understandable because we don't get his point of view, but it's really hard to like Lo, right? He is letting his addiction take over his actions, and he sometimes comes off as, you know, an angry person. I feel like this could be the breaking point of their relationship, but obviously Lily is desperately trying to get him out of this state, and she's trying to help him. So that is where I am at this point, and I do work in a little bit here, and so I will check in back later today. Hopefully I finish this book by today. I think I only have like a few more chapters left. So yeah, I will see you in a little bit. Okay, so I am at work. I'm on break, and I am just thinking about this book so much because I'm obviously reading it, duh, but I got to the scene where they were at this club or whatever, and things just went downhill, you know. I mean, I feel like every single time they go out, something goes bad, right? And right now, let me close this window. And right now, I guess I'm kind of conflicted about, you know, the whole relationship in general. I feel like Lily and Lo are so like bad for each other. Like they both have these addictions, obviously, and they need each other so much in their lives that they become so dependent on each other, right? But I feel like they need to probably sort out their own addictions before actually coming back together, because things are not getting done, okay? They are pretty much like both enabling these decisions that they make, right? And these, you know, it's not helping their situation pretty much. At the scene, you see that Lo is, you know, just feeding his addiction, and he's not really caring for Lily, right? And this is where I'm saying that I find it really hard to love him. Like I said, I feel like they need to have this time apart and stop being so dependent on each other, right? And it's hard to do so because they are all that they got, right? They don't even have friends, not until Connor and Wright came in, right? There's a lot going like back and forth with their addictions, and I'm understanding that that is the whole plot, okay? So there's not much more to it than their addictions. And I'm feeling like this is such a character-driven story that it kind of makes it a slow process to recovery, if that makes any sense. Okay, so shit went down, okay? So we see that after the whole like scene at the club, Lily finally opens up, okay? So she finally confesses everything to Rose, and so Rose is there for her. She's like, hey, you know what? You're my sister, and that would never change. If you are ready to open up, I'm here, but if you're not, I'm willing to wait this amount of years, whatever. But then she finally does give in, and she finally opens up and says that they are struggling with their addictions. Okay. I'm like, you know, past all of this, and now everybody's trying to help them, okay? Well, not everybody. We have Rose, Connor, and Reich. The people in the know are trying to help them, okay? And this scene that I just read, so we are seeing Lo and Reich at this track field. I think they are like running, and Lily, something in her mind, she's saying that if you look at them, they look like they can probably be the same person, okay? And now I'm having at the back of my mind, like, what does that mean? I mean, I feel like Reich could probably be somebody really significant to Lo, like probably like I'm gonna put it out there, he can probably be his brother or something. And I'm wondering, I have questions about this because obviously we don't know too much about Regg's perspective, and we are questioning him still. Well, I'm questioning him still, like, hey, why are you so involved in Lo's life? Like, why do you need to know so much about Lo? And he's, you know, they have conversations and everything. If they do reveal that he is his brother, like, everything would make sense to me, honestly, because he did mention that his father was an alcoholic. And so I'm just like here, like, do they share the same father or something? And so I just wanted to put it out there. That's what I'm thinking at this point. I could be 100% wrong. If I am 100% wrong, I'm probably not even gonna put this video out there, but I guess we're gonna have to see where things go from there. I'm almost done with the book, and so I think my next check-in will be after I've read everything. All right, you guys, so I finally finished this book right here. I was right. Okay, so Regg is actually Lo's half brother. Okay, so they do share the same dad, but not the same mom. And it appears that the mom that Lo thought was his was actually Regg's mother, and so we don't know who Lo's mom is at this point. When Lo found out about his parents or his relationship with Regg, he definitely had like a meltdown, right? He broke down, he cried, and there's this scene where he was just like, where is Lily? I need Lily right now, and she was there for him. I'm gonna be honest, if this book, they did not get together at one point, I would have been fine with it. I felt like they are more of friends than they are lovers in this book. Even though everybody says that they are soulmates, I feel like they were trauma bonding more, right? If that makes any sense. Trauma bonding, addiction bonding. Going into the next books, I am 100% sure that they will figure things out and they will be that couple that I was, you know, imagining them to be, okay? But just from this first book, I would have been fine if they remained friends and just helped each other through their addictions, right? So I'm having conflicted thoughts about this book, right? If this was a standalone, I probably would have rated this like 3 or 3.5 or so, right? But because I know that there's more to this story, there's more to Lily and Lo's story, I am giving this one a 4 stars. Regardless, I am excited to move on with the story. I am excited to pick up Ricochet, which is the second book to the series, and I believe that one still follows Lily and Lo. Shout out to the side characters, right? Rose and Connor, they already have this relationship going on, right, in this first book, and I just adore them. Like, I love like academic rival stories, right? I love smart people because their banter is always so much better. They make these snarky remarks, but it's like intelligent remarks, if that makes any sense. So we don't see anything really with Regg and Daisy. We barely even see Daisy at all, right? And I had this thought in the back of my mind that I wanted to say, I felt like if Regg and Rose ends up together, I would not be mad, you know, I would not be mad at all, because I feel like they are both really strong characters, very strong personalities. I love strong female leads and obviously the male leads, but obviously we know that Rose is going to be with Connor, and I'm not mad about that neither. But, you know, I just had this theory in my mind. Anyways, that would have been interesting. Anyways, at the end of this book, we do see that Lo is going to seek professional help, which I am very, very happy that he made the decision to do that, right? And I think both of them do need professional help. Like, I feel like before they can actually come together, they should definitely resolve their own problems separately. I feel like the separation will help them a lot with their relationship, right? I know that everybody says these two are soulmates, and I have no doubt in my mind that they are, okay? I'm just saying, from this first book, they could have just been friends, and I would have been happy with that. Overall, the first part of this book was pretty good. Like, I loved everything leading up to like that first half until they actually got together, and that's when things started going downhill, because we can't just make it easy for them, can we? Just my ending thoughts. I'm extremely excited to continue with this series. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate the time you put into watching this clip, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.